Modern anti-Zionism/anti-Semitism. 3 Palestinians killed as daily violence grinds on. CBS 2016. Palestinians shot dead after fatal stabbing in Jerusalem. 2 Israeli victims also killed. Al Jazeera 2015. 4 Israelis, 2 Palestinians dead in Jerusalem. CNN 2014. These are all headlines from various news organizations in the past few years. Now, at first glance, there's not too much wrong with these headlines. They accurately and succinctly spell out summaries of that day's activities and goings-on. However, if you know both sides of this argument, these headlines begin to take on a more sinister quality. Today, I'll be talking about people who use anti-Zionism as a shield for anti-Semitism and how Israel is treated unfairly not only by the media, but by the world in general. Being Jewish, I tended to grow up hearing about Israel almost daily, and I quickly fell in love with the country. As I got older, I learned that Israel is often severely misrepresented in the media. This causes people to have a warped and often very inaccurate view of the Jewish state. Then, in my senior year of high school, I went to Israel for the first time. The group I was with, Israel Study Tour, went all over the country, from the northern tip of Haifa down to the southern tip of Eilat. All over the country, there were Palestinians and Israelis interacting completely peacefully with one another. Nowhere did I see apartheid or Palestinians treated as second-class citizens or anything that news stations say is very widespread in the country. Not once did I feel unsafe, thought I was going to get hurt, or anything. Now, I'm not saying this doesn't happen at all, because it does. Bad things happen in every country. There are bad people everywhere in the world. But it's not nearly as prevalent as the media makes it out to be. As I stated before, if you know both sides of the Middle East conflict, rather than just taking these news articles at face value, you begin to see one side of the argument being heavily favored, while the other is severely misrepresented. For example, the first headline should be something more along the lines of 3 terrorists shot dead after attempting to stab Israeli police. The second headline should read more like, Palestinian terrorists shot dead after stabbing 2 Israelis. The third should say something like, deadly attack on Jerusalem synagogue leaves 4 Israelis and two terrorists dead. Misrepresentation is nothing new for the Jewish state. Facing daily attacks, whether it be from far-right anti-Semitic neo-Nazis or far-left BDS, boycott, divest, and sanction, and similar movements. Israel has dealt with these issues of propaganda from these various hate groups who continuously attempt to delegitimize or vilify the country ever since its founding. Not only this, but international news organizations contribute to the problem by consistently producing headlines and stories about Israel that are exaggerated or lack context in order to increase clicks and viewership. These misleading headlines can create misrepresentations of Israel if one does not dig deeper and seek out the truth or understand the context. Unfortunately, the media aren't the only ones who falsely attack and have biases against Israel. Anti-Zionism is seen everywhere, and at times can be a very thinly veiled disguise for anti-Semitism. Now, I'm not saying, if you criticize Israel, you're anti-Semitic. No. However, there are those who use criticizing the Jewish state as a disguise to attack the Jewish people themselves. For example, back in 2016, there was a professor at Oberlin College who was fired for making several blatantly anti-Semitic social media posts. Oberlin Review, 2016. And just last November, the UK-produced magazine The Gay Times fired their newest editor for anti-Semitic, racist, homophobic, and anti-trans as well, tweets that he'd made in the past. NBC, 2017. Fortunately, this shows that while, yes, there are people who use anti-Zionism as a disguise to spew anti-Semitic speech, those people are usually called out very quickly and shut down just as fast. As I said previously, anti-Zionism/anti-Semitism is seen everywhere, and governing bodies are no exception. The United Nations has a notorious bias against Israel, to the point of denying any Jewish connection to the holy city of Jerusalem. Miami Herald, 2016. Absolutely preposterous. In the past, the UN has time and time again adopted absolutely insanely anti-Israel, not anti-Zionist, resolutions, such as calling Israel the only violator of women's rights in the entire world, while Iran, Yemen, and Afghanistan were all ignored. Another example is the time the UN used a picture of a little girl in a bombed-out building as evidence of Israel's cruelty towards Palestinian civilians. However, in reality, the picture was taken in Damascus, Syria, not Israel. President Trump's former chief strategist, Steve Bannon, has been accused in the past of saying incredibly anti-Semitic things. Paul Nealon is a candidate for the U.S. House and is a known white supremacist running on an intensely anti-Israel campaign. As evidenced here, anti-Zionism is prevalent throughout society, and while it may not be a growing issue, anti-Semites are certainly feeling more and more emboldened by the hateful rhetoric spewed by our president. There are solutions. Potential solutions. But potential solutions that are viable and could actually help to make a change for the better. The first and biggest thing to do would be to adjust headlines to make them less dramatic and provide more context. So many people read the news and yet don't consume the full article. They'll just read the headline and share it from there. So, changing these headlines would give more context and allow for more informed decisions and opinions to be made, which is why this would be an absolutely incredible first step to take. Another potential solution would be to create watchdog groups, which could analyze and fact-check claims made in various news organizations. This would help to hold these organizations more accountable. Inaccurate reporting or yellow journalism could result in fines or other sanctions. If neither of these options are very effective, boycotting the offending organizations can always also help. Hit them where it really hurts, the wallet. Once again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying all criticism of Israel is bad and anti-Semitic. In fact, I think criticism of that which you love is a good thing and can result in mass improvement. Which is why, when called for, I do criticize Israel. However, these sensationalized, misleading articles and stories hurt the cause of improvement and don't make anything better. I think that these solutions could create a much more tolerant world. More accurate journalism would also allow customers to hold the right people accountable and create a more informed culture, rather than to begin attacking countries which don't always deserve it. There are many ways in which each of us can make this happen. It doesn't take a lot to create a watchdog group. All you need are some willing participants with a computer and a want for accurate reporting. You organize these people and you've got a watchdog group. It's one of the easiest things we can do to help try and fix this problem. Not only could this watchdog group fact-check stories, but they could also watch out for those wildly misleading headlines and hold the authoring organizations accountable. Another easy thing to do is boycott the offending organization. As I said, hit them where it really hurts, the wallet. However, one of the absolute best things to do is to join and participate, or donate to, organizations or charities which support and work with Israeli companies. Promote Israel over the bad, rather than tear down the organizations that attack it. In summary, the attacks against Israel in the media and the consistent misrepresentation of the Jewish state is a problem that can and should be fixed. We shouldn't live in a world where free speech is denied or criticized, but we should also not live in one where facts and context are not provided. This can lead to speculation and blame that isn't necessarily based in truth. But Israel, like all governments, needs accountability. But so do the organizations reporting on it. Otherwise, we'll never know how to truly fix these ongoing conflicts in the Middle East.